to this week's edition of the show. As usual, we have wonderful guests, but this week we have an amazing guest. All about inspiration. I am honored to have the wonderful Anne Mitchell with me today. Lovely to have you, lovely to see you.
Lovely
and
to
thank
be
you
here, Barrie.
for taking time out of your extremely busy schedule to come and see us, because I know it's taken a while for us to coordinate the dates.
It has.
How are you keeping up?
I'm good, I'm very well, thank you. I'm very busy, which is not...
I know.
Yeah, I'm on a roll at the moment, Barrie.
And we all want to be on a roll, don't
Yes, exactly.
we? You know, we want to be on a roll till we can't roll anymore.
Yes, I want to work till I drop.
That's it.
Yeah.
As I say, it's better to be needed every day and exhausted than not needed at all. You know?
Totally. I think that's a kind of death, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not needed. And when you can't kind of galvanize yourself or motivate yourself, you know, very hard, I think.
Yeah.
When you don't have a goal, or when somebody doesn't want to give you a goal.
Well, this is it, because how does it work for you, this role? Is it, you know, are you casting still? Do you still have to cast, or do the parts come to you? How does it work?
A bit of both.
Yeah.
It's a bit of both. The parts come to me, which is lovely, but yes, I go to many castings.
Right.
And I'm videoed with tapes. And
so this is a natural for her, I mean. Yeah, so it's a bit of both.
Yeah, it's a bit of both, Barrie.
Right.
Rupert Everett's just invited me to play the nurse in Uncle Vanya, which I'm very pleased.
And he's going to play...
Yes, he'll play Uncle Vanya.
He'll be Uncle Vanya,
and direct it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is theatre?
Yes, this is theatre.
Where will it be opening?
Bath.
Right.
Normally, when plays want to come into town, they often start at Bath. There's no guarantee, of course.
Yeah.
You come in or anything. You just take pot luck. You know, you may come in, you may not. And I like Bath.
Yeah.
And I have friends there who own a castle. And it's
really?
great. And on other times I've stayed in the turret of their castle.
Beautiful.
Yeah, they're lovely, lovely people, and they're very active in the refugee movement, and they're therapists who, you know, are helpful.
Wonderful.
The trauma, being a refugee, of course.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
Now your filmography is just so vast. I mean, it's bigger than... And I was in a panic reading through this, I have to say, thinking I'll never remember it all. But then I thought, calm down, because she'll remember most of it. So as we're going through, she'll remember. Now, I mean, it starts from Z Cars, is what I saw.
Yes, I think it goes back even before Z Cars. I think one of the first things I did, it goes back even there. When I was at drama school at the East 15, just before I went to drama school, I was the secretary to two writers, John McGrath and Troy Kennedy Martin.
Right.
And Troy Kennedy Martin was the creator of Z Cars.
Yeah.
And John McGrath wrote a series called, oh gosh, now you say I've forgotten it. This is terrible.
But I know that name, John McGrath.
Yes, he was a very, very fine writer. And he wrote this series, Diary of a Young Man.
Right.
And by that time, I got into the East 15 drama school. And the first scholarship ever to the East 15.
Really? The first scholarship?
Yes.
Right.
And the first batch of students, Philip Headley, me, Robert Walker, others.
Names.
Yes.
Names.
And I was the first scholarship. And they very kindly, John McGrath and Troy, came to see me at drama school. And I was playing viola and Sebastian, right? And I was enjoying it very much, but when they were coming, I got very, very
nervous, yes, as you would.
But to my astonishment, they wrote a role for me in this series called Diary of a Young Man. So that was the first.
And at what age was that?
I must have been about 24,
right.
I think, something like that. And a fan on Facebook found some pictures of me in that.
Wow.
And it was so extraordinary to see it, to think, my God, did I look like that?
Like that?
Because you look back, I think most people do.
That's the thing.
Most actors are never happy with their photographs. You just think, oh God, I look so awful, I'm not this, I'm not that. And then, when you see them back in the day,
Yeah.
and when you were young, you think, God.
And I think that's most people, isn't it?
I think it's
most people, regardless of what
exactly.
feel. Oh, I don't like pictures. I don't think.
Exactly.
And then you see pictures 30 years later, and you go, "Did I look that
Exactly,
good?
that's
What
right.
was I worried about?" So it went back even further than Z cars.
Yes, it did, to that. And then actually when I was at drama school, I was still at drama school and I was offered a television role and I was allowed to play it. And that was a Muriel Spark adaptation for television, one of the first, I think. Girls of a Slender Means, and I was in that. I played a small role in that.
Now you said you were in the major, was it, issue of Z Cars? It made history?
The
last live.
Z Cars was the Z Cars I did, which
Yeah.
was written by John Hopkins.
Right.
Was the last live Z Cars.
So it was actually done live?
Yes.
Initially?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. You think about it now and my heart goes boom, boom, boom. But just about thinking of doing television live.
Yeah.
But then, there was no alternative. That's what you did. You did it live.
How did they cope? Well, they did.
Yeah, they did cope. But I always say, how did we make movies without mobile phones?
Well, you did. It's true.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, growing up, where did you grow up?
Stepney Green.
Real East End girl.
Yes, yes.
Real East End girl.
Yeah.
When did acting come into your mind that you thought, that's what I want to do, that's the path I want to take?
I think I was 5.
Oh, as young as that?
Yes, I was very young. I used to, I dread to think what they must have thought of me, my school friends. But I used to write plays and direct them and star in them on the gymnasium steps. And, I did that all the time.
From 5, and that was it?
5 or 6, yeah. And then I got more and more.
Yeah, great momentum. And did you always love movies, going to...
Yes, my mother
Yeah.
was a great, loved the movies. We went 3 times a week.
Wow, no, that's
I
a
went
lot.
to Saturday morning classes,
Yeah.
and then I went on Sundays to the French movies at the People's Palace. They would have, like, European movies.
Yeah.
So I saw them, not at 5, I saw them
Yeah.
kind of 12, 11, 12, that kind
Yeah.
of thing. But yes, I was very imbued with movies.
Yeah.
I was very much in a movie world, very much.
Yes. So you then thought, when did the official training start of acting?
I first started, and this is strange, I think I was about 11 when I went to some classes. I may have been a bit older.
Right.
I think I was 11, and I went to some classes at Toynbee Hall in Aldgate East, which was a kind of community
Right.
centre. And the extraordinary thing is, with Uncle Vanya, which Rupert Everett is directing, we are going to rehearse at Toynbee Hall. So it's like a full circle.
Yeah.
It's very
Have you
extraordinary.
been back there since that, or is now going to be the first time?
I
you've
have
been?
been back.
Right.
It was for maybe to give a workshop on something,
Yeah.
not often. I've
Yeah.
been back often, but I've never been back to rehearse there.
Right.
So I found that very
And that's when
strange.
it started for you, and the official training started.
Yes.
And was it encouraged by your parents? Because you're thinking, well, East London, and in that era, it was more, come on, go out and earn a job, you earn some money to help the family, and
Understandably.
Yeah.
First of all, I was an only child.
Oh,
So
lovely.
It was lovely. Yeah, I was very lucky.
The princess.
I guess so, in a way. Well, it was quite, it was the princess, but it was also quite mixed. They very much, my mother and my auntie and my grandmother brought me up. I was brought up by 3 very strong women. My mother was a remarkable woman, absolutely remarkable. and she had to leave school at 13, of course, because it was a very poor background, and my auntie too. But my mother always really wanted, I think,
something
to be
better for you.
Oh, she wanted something better for me.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
My whole family did. My mother was a waitress, my auntie was a cook, and my grandmother was illiterate and couldn't read or write, and she was a cleaner. And they, all three women, wanted something better for me.
But even within those three, each one of them did better than the last. Like your mother did a bit better than her mother.
Yes, she did. That's very true.
And that's how the progression
would have done, had she not had to leave school at 13, would have, I think, had a remarkable career in eventually computers, because she was offered. When my mum was working in the city somewhere, she must have been about 50-ish then, maybe a bit younger. And the first computers, which you had to break walls down to bring in the computers.
Yeah, because there were those huge structures.
Exactly. And Mummy was asked to train to be it, but I think she was a little bit nervous.
Yeah.
I think she didn't feel confident enough. Yeah. So, I mean, therefore, yes, there was a lot of, expectations for me, a lot of hopes for me.
Yes, so they're putting it on you to push you further and further. So they ain't
not
really...
so much like that, but you carry the hopes, especially if it's poverty. If you're from a background of which my grandmother was, huge poverty, and she lost her husband when she was 35. Over a weekend, he got pneumonia, and on the Friday, and was dead on the Monday, which nowadays he would have had antibiotics. Yeah. And she had 3 children to bring up. So there are the hopes are put on
those,
child. Yes. So it was a mixed thing for me. Both a princess, but they certainly didn't want me to do anything domestic.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to do anything domestically.
Really?
No, they didn't teach me.
Yeah, and it's funny, I was having a conversation just the other day with exactly what you're talking about, and people saying, well, if it was good enough for my grandmother to do, it's good enough for me to do. And I'm saying, but that's the biggest slap in the face for her, because she's been through everything that she's been through so that you can do better and not have to do that.
Of course, exactly. I mean, I think there's an enormous respect for what that generation did. Enormous. But yes, of course they wanted us to do better. And also I was a child of the war. So after the war, the whole feeling in this country, of course, changed dramatically. Yeah. This became a Labour country.
It did.
The welfare state was remarkable for working class people. This was the first time they ever had enjoyed healthcare.
Well, yes, because as I said, when the NHS first opened hospitals, queues of people around the blocks, people that had their babies at home and didn't get the health care that they needed, and they were just flocking out.
Exactly.
So, people now, they really have no idea.
No, I think that's true.
They have no idea of what it really is. To go back. And as you were saying earlier about the vaccines and how things in your one street, you had polio, you had
polio, TB, asthma, mental illness. In the one street. Yeah.
Exactly. So with the vaccine.
And they died. I mean, lady who had TB died, lady who had asthma died, and the polio child was okay.
Yeah.
Crippled. I mean, just damaged. The legs were slightly damaged.
Now I have to say, this lady shares a birthday with my mother. Okay, they're a day apart. The 22nd, my mother's the 23rd. But you played, I'm going to the end, and then we go back to the beginning.
Okay.
Called The Midwife.
Yes.
Loved it. BBC. And listening to you talking now, you're actually telling the story of your time that you grew up in, that you know.
Yes, absolutely. Heidi Thomas, the creator of Called Midwife, wrote it for me.
Right.
And it was a wonderful opportunity, to bring what I knew.
Yeah.
What I knew all about that. I knew You at a very young age.
Yeah, and my mother being a midwife as well, I was riveted because she'd worked the district, and you know, you playing the part, and you're saying, well, I could have been a nurse with your granddaughter, and you're saying, well, I could have been, and I didn't have the learning because, as you're saying, the cycle, having to leave school young.
But like her granddaughter,
she was able to get through.
Which is why I think it was such a devastating blow to their relationship.
Yeah.
And
it was moving.
Well, I hope so.
Very moving. Well, I was not, shall I say, riveted to widows. Because at that age, I was out running up and down, and it wasn't a TV addict. I have to say, I didn't get connected with widows until after. And then I was like, oh, now I see what they're talking about. And I was just riveted to this Anne Mitchell. Whatever Anne Mitchell did from then, I was just riveted, wherever she did, whatever she did, wherever she went, I was watching. And then you were like playing these hard roles, which were really quite East End.
Yes, that one was.
Yeah, it's almost playing what you come from yourself.
Yes, I mean, I come from that background.
Yeah.
What I always wanted to do was to honour the women that I had been brought up with.
The strong women.
Yes, the strong women, the whole ethos of the East End. It made my blood boil when people would talk about people from the East End being thick, you know, having no style. Look at Alexander McQueen. You know, that was in my blood.
Yeah.
I had a mission. Because I'd lived in the dark in movies as a child and watched many, many British movies where upper middle class actors would play working class actors. And there was always for me a comment on the work, that they were always commenting on the working class characters. Oh, aren't they funny? You know, they're there for a bit of a laugh. And that kind of thing, you know. So it was in my blood to say, I couldn't articulate it, but that's what I wanted to bring to the screen.
To the screen,
was an East End, working class London woman.
Bright,
with
strong.
style, bright and sharp and smart. And of course, Linda Lamont wrote such a
wonderful writing.
But there's also another level of wonderful writing, wonderful. And it was wonderful for me when I first read the script, because I thought, this is, first of all, an amazing thriller, you know? And this is incredible, 4 women are going to lead this. Female producer, female writer, you know, female executive producer. But I also thought, this is a study of grief and romantic obsessional love between Dolly and Harry. And so to get that as well as the thriller element was like, it was of course
a gift from heaven.
It was a gift, a total
gift from heaven.
Barrie, no question of that.
So powerful. And as you say, it covered all areas. The love, which is even, can you say, her vulnerability, her softness, her gentleness, you know, the love for this man, yet she was still strong enough and smart enough to be able to pull them together to do something positive for them, because she was the one that saw, well, you know what, we need to do something here.
Exactly.
Rather than just grieve and cry. You know?
And it was very extraordinary the way I got it. As I understand it, the casting director, Marilyn Johnson, who's passed now, said right at the beginning, there's only one actor to play this. As I understand it, right, that's what I heard. But of course, Ian Swanton, everybody wanted to see a whole load of actors. But before I was seen for Widows, 18 months before, the director, Ian Twinton, had seen me for Chinese Detective. Which was very lovely.
Series,
David, it was lovely. And they gave me the pages, And for the first time in my life, I counted the lines. I'd never done it before. And there were 6. And I was to play Stephen Burkhoff's sister. Stephen was the guest star. And I was to play his sister with 6 lines. And I was at real school with Stephen. That's about 41, something like that. Mm-hmm. I was working as a receptionist, and I was working as I was a single parent. I was working as a receptionist during the day, and I was working as a barmaid at night. And I read these 3 lines, 6, I'm reducing.
Reducing it, it'll be 2 by the end.
2 by the end of my tale. And I'd also started, I'd only been a month in therapy, about a month. And I read them for Ian, the director. I read them with him, and he said at the end of it, "That's fabulous, we'd love you to do it." And I said, "No, I'm worth more than that." It's the first time that I'd ever said
I
it.
did, yeah, because your confidence by then is...
Well, it wasn't confidence, I don't know what it was, Barry. I wouldn't say it was confidence.
Okay.
It was a deep cry in my soul to say, if this is all this business and profession can offer me, then I'm going to move away, as it were. Right. And 18 months later, when Marilyn Johnson put my name forward to Ian, he said, "That's the kind of pride we need."
You put it out in the universe, and you know, it's so true when you say everything happens as it's supposed to. It might not happen the way we want it to at the time, but it happens as it's supposed to. That was what you were supposed to do, not to take that role.
I guess so.
And that's the strength that he wanted, the role, however many months later.
Yes, it was. Yes, yeah. But even then they went through, and then I had to do audition, of course, and all of that. Yeah, it's quite a fascinating...
But what I love about you is you play different people.
Yes.
Now, there's some actors and actresses that, to me, they are always themselves, regardless which role they're in. Now, you went from Widows, which was one kind of role. You've been in Within These Walls with Googie Withers, I remember that as well. Hard nut. Really having to stand up for yourself. And then I saw you in one of my favorite programs of all time with John Thaw, Kavanagh QC, as the judge.
Yes, that was lovely.
And I was like, but that's Mitchell that was there a minute ago, was that completely different. And the scene where you're at the bedside with the boy, actually just talking to him as a person, not what your parents are saying, not what anyone else is saying, not the lawyers, I just want to talk to you. And I was like, yeah, this lady's pretty special.
I love doing that. I love that.
With Mr. John Thaw.
Yes, whom I've known, whom I knew since I was 20.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, when I shared a flat with John, well, they shared a flat with me, John Hurt.
Well, no, I have to get to this. This is a section all of its own. I mean...
It was a group of young actors, and I had the flat. I was the one who rented the flat.
Right.
And various actors. I think at one point, my telephone number was known throughout the whole of the profession, and actors would just turn up on my door.
So you had the flat because, did you have the 2 children at that time?
I had only one child.
Just the one?
Just the one.
Right.
And I shared it with a girlfriend.
Right.
She didn't have children, but we got this flat together, and we were actors, and it was at that point, she had met John Hurt, so through that, you know...
A lot of Johns did. John Thaw.
Johns came in, yeah.
But yeah, you see, that's it. It's a cycle, but people only see the finished product. They don't see the journey that got you to be on that big screen, where you were all jobbing actors together and hustling.
We were.
You know?
But people didn't have anywhere to sleep, they didn't have anywhere to live, they didn't have any money for rent.
Exactly, because as you said, you were still working 2 jobs, looking after the children, and still trying to cast and get the big job that's going to change everything.
Exactly. And when Fogah came over with Fakes Mokai for, the brothers play.
Right.
What it's called now. That was extraordinary because Zakes, coming out of South Africa and apartheid, he'd never experienced being in a situation where he wasn't constantly being
watched and under under surveillance and under the whip, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What are you doing here at this time? And yeah.
Yeah, I remember him saying to me, "This is extraordinary."
Now, you did share a beautiful story with you sharing the flat with John Hurt.
Yes.
You didn't mention John Thaw at the time.
No, John Thaw was, he'd married a friend of mine called Sally Alexander.
Right.
And that's how I knew John. But
Right.
he didn't share that.
He didn't share that. But you shared a story with you sharing with John Hurt.
So John Hurt, yeah.
Yeah. And the murals, is it, on the wall?
Yes, he was a painter. Even then, John painted. And he loved painting.
You see, take these facts in because these are things that we don't know. That's why you need to talk to the legends to hear it from the horse's mouth. Who knew John Thaw could paint?
Oh, yeah. Well, I think that people do now.
Right,
Certain people, I think.
Yeah.
No, I'm not sure that the general public.
Public now.
He came out a little bit, but he was painting even then. Yeah, and he painted on the walls of the apartment we had, the flat we had. He painted on the walls. That was a very big thing in the 60s.
Yeah.
And he painted a triptych of me, him, and Nicol Williamson. And then in my room, he painted a lovely, he painted a portrait of me. But over the years, there's so much paint and wallpaper and everything.
Yeah.
But I felt, and what happened was, a few years ago, it transpired that the soldiers in Chelsea Barracks, not the pensioners,
Right.
but at one point there were a lot of soldiers billeted there.
Right.
And they too had painted on the wall in the 60s. They painted various things. And it was quite a remarkable thing. And there was going to be an exhibition. And I thought I should have asked someone to come and take them down, and John's work could have been exhibited.
Because I mean, where was that apartment?
In Mornington Crescent.
Right. Oh, so you're still kind of that area.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I lived in that apartment for 50 years.
Wow.
I brought my 2 children up there.
And are they still there? Those paintings that
That's
you made?
it. That's the point, Barrie. They're under all the wallpaper and paint.
You're gonna have to get experts to get them.
Yeah,
Tried
exactly.
everything.
No, I've left now. I've moved.
Oh, you've left, right.
I moved. Yes, I did try. Actually, I did put the word out there, but it didn't happen.
That's a shame. A bit of history lost there. And those people don't even know what they're getting under there. Sir John Hurt's handiwork.
It's such a shame, really. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You just keep working and working and working, as you're saying. I mean, it's amazing. How do you find the energy? Because I know sometimes I'm exhausted, shattered.
Yeah, of course. I find the energy, and I love working. I find I have to rest a day.
Yeah.
If I've been filming quite a bit,
Yeah.
I have to take a couple of days.
Yeah.
Kind of
To
rest.
recover.
Yeah. Yes, to recharge.
Yeah.
I think that's really
Now, do you do anything in particular to recharge? Meditation, just sleep, or
Sleep.
Yes,
sleep a lot.
that's my favorite. I have to say, I love my bed. I'm emotionally involved with my bed, so
Yeah, I sleep
I
a lot.
totally get it.
I like walking, and I'm a great reader and watcher of movies, so that's how I wind up.
It's almost as if when you're reading and still watching movies with great gusto, you're still honing your trade,
Yes,
almost.
That's true, Barrie. That's true. I can never watch anything without watching
The professional eye, yeah.
What is something?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. That's absolutely true. It's one of the reasons why sometimes I go to the theatre to see friends. Try to be there for them. When I know what's going on. But sometimes it's difficult for me with the theatre. Because I know the workings of it.
Right.
So I can see I can kind of see the joins, if you
Yeah.
like. But ballet and opera, I'm a total innocent. So that's wonderful for me. I go to the opera quite a bit now.
Yes, you're going with an innocent's
A
eye.
total innocence, and the same for the ballet.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it. I'm just like in awe. But theatre, I know, of course,
The workings.
joins, yeah, exactly.
The workings.
Yeah.
And I mean, have you done Shakespeare?
Yes. I did. I did a Titus Andronicus. I did a production of that back in the day. This was the 70s, I think, and we reopened the Roundhouse with it. The Roundhouse
The
had been
Roundhouse,
derelict for many years. I think it ran, then that was The Hero Rises Up. I think we reopened that. Anyway.
You see, the repertoire is so vast, even she gets confused.
And I was a topless Tamara. And there's another interesting thing. I had this black wig that helped my modesty.
Yes.
And loads of beads, right? And a suede skirt kind of tied at the side. And Tim Curry had just come out of drama school, and he was a soldier in the production. And every night at 5 o'clock, he came in to paint my body. He did. And he did some beautiful designs.
So you come and paint your body, and then you'd have the wig down.
Paint
And
the snakes and all of that. And then the wig would be arranged so that you could see almost like tattoos through it. But Tim did that.
Tim Curry.
Yeah, I'm deeply grateful for him. That was quite a thing to do for
Another painter.
Yes,
Another painter.
Another painter. He enjoyed it, and we had great fun. Well, he had great fun working out patterns and all of this. Yeah.
But you more often than not find that creatives in general are multifaceted. They have more than one thing that they do, like play an instrument.
That's very true. And I also think that everybody is creative. Every single human being in the world is creative.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can find something whereby you can make a living in that form of creativity. But even to set a table is creative.
To set it beautifully. Yeah, to set it beautifully, yeah.
To plait someone's hair,
It's just being able to home in on the creativity, and of course it be encouraged.
Of course, that's what I mean. That's what I would like to encourage people to know.
That's the thing.
That everybody is creative. Seek out those people who will encourage you.
Yes.
And then if they do, go on to encourage someone else. So
that's the legacy.
Yes, that's the legacy.
Yeah.
Yes.
That you can actually turn back and say, well, you know what? This one, if it wasn't for them.
Exactly. There's a wonderful line in Now Voyager with Griffiths, exactly, that I've never forgotten. And it's when the child is sent. The child is sent to the same analytic respite, if you like.
As her aunt.
As
Betty Davis, yeah.
And the child says to her at one point, Betty Davis just being very kind to the child, and the child says, "Why are you kind to me?" And Betty Davis says, "Because someone was kind to me once."
Yes.
And I think that's so important.
What a great movie that is.
Oh, fantastic.
She's like the one that's always shunned and the maiden aunt.
Remarkable.
Maiden aunt.
Transformation.
Yeah, and then she gets off the boat and you see this big hat and you're thinking, who's that? And it can't be.
And the shot is done from the ankles.
That's right. Up. Literally. You see, this is when you're talking to a master that knows.
Fabulous.
Amazing. What can you leave us with that will inspire us and encourage us to be like you?
I am not sure about like me, but I think, what do I feel and think of? I think be kind. I think the world at the moment is in great need of kindness and respect. Don't limit yourself by I'm not good at this, I'm not good at that, that's not me. Have the courage to try things. Seek out those people who are going to enhance your life and not be destructive towards you. Keep at it. I mean, if you're meaning, Barrie, in this profession,
in life in general,
general, keep going. Have faith. Have faith in the future, and know that times that are very, very difficult and can be
challenging,
challenging and almost destroying will pass. Will pass if you find the strength within yourself and seek out others to. People want to help.
Yeah.
They want to help. You know?
I think that's really important, as you say. Don't limit yourself, because out there are enough people who will put limitations on you.
Exactly. They're going to do it for you.
They're going to do it for you.
Yes,
exactly. You know, so you have to kind of have faith, and as you say, have faith, but also have faith in yourself.
Exactly.
And I think it takes most people quite a while in their life's journey, whatever their path may be, to get to the place where you think, I'm actually as worthy as the next person.
Of course.
My story may not be yours or yours, but my story is my story too, and I have traveled and had a journey.
Absolutely.
And I'm as deserving.
Absolutely. And I also think, in an age of great individualism, I think it's very life-enhancing. I think there's great growth by connecting yourself with a purpose other than your own individuality and your own journey or goal. You know, we're not alone. I mean, we need to help one another, all of us. We need to be there for one another, and that means some form of activism, to be quite honest. It means joining, you know, joining against forces in the world that are full of hate.
Yeah.
So love.
And you're very much an advocate of that, of diversity in the industry, because where I met you was the Screen Awards.
Yes. Yes, of course. No, and I'm an ambassador for Act for Change.
Yeah.
And I have been involved all my life. I've been an activist.
Of some sort or another.
With the women's movement, gay liberation, you know, civil rights movement. Yeah. And I found that to be
well, it's highly motivating.
It's
nothing else.
And you, yes, because you're part of a greater whole than just yourself.
And the thing is, as you say, many people think that it's just their journey, their story, and it's about me. But whether we like it or not, we are connected.
Totally, Barrie.
For the simple reason we have to coexist in the same space.
Exactly.
But apart from that, you realize, well, you have a conversation and, it's not even 6 degrees of separation anymore. It's more like 2.
I think I always thought it was 2.
Yeah, it's more like 2. You know, somebody knows somebody that, you know her as well, you know him as well.
Exactly.
Oh, I went there. Did you go there as well? I went there.
Yeah.
Might not have been at the same time, but so there's that mutuality. That
totally, and that shared experience. I remember Baldwin writing about how when he first went out from his home and the church, and the shock to him to find that others had suffered.
Yeah.
He was roommates with a couple of guys from a Jewish family.
Yes.
And he said it was a real beginning for him.
Right.
For not just the suffering for himself, but for his community, and then beyond that.
What a genius he was.
What a genius. You know, he sent me another story. My son Che was reading him really since the age of 11.
Right.
And I happened to meet Michael Thelwell, who was a very close friend of, who wrote the novel, Before the Fall, what's it called? There was the movie. I can't remember it now, but there was a movie,
Right.
and then Michael Selwyn wrote the novel.
Okay.
You have to look it up.
I'll have to look it up now. Research. That will be an insert, don't worry.
And I met Michael through a friend, and we became friends. And he adored Che. Michael loved Che because Che was like reading
Voraciously, yeah, at that age. I mean,
Exactly.
Baldwin, because that's quite heavy for an adult to really get, let alone a child of 11.
And Michael got James Baldwin to sign a copy of,
Wow.
of Giovanni's Room for Che, and somebody stole it.
No,
Yeah.
that's a great loss.
Yeah.
But I mean, what a great man he was.
totally.
Speaker.
Totally. Writer, speaker, activist. I mean, look at Harry Belafonte. Look at him.
Still going.
Still going.
In his 90s. Still going.
Exactly.
Still sharp as a knife.
Absolutely. Still gorgeous. still.
You know, it puts me reminiscent of my mother because she at 94 is still going, still sharp as a knife, we're lucky to say.
Yeah.
But, you know, still got that mind of defiance and you realize that's what keeps you going.
Yeah. Of course, but the best get involved.
Yeah.
What you have to become involved to make this world better, and also to keep what we've gained.
Yes, and not let that slip away because all the time you see they're trying to chip away at the things that have been fought for.
Exactly, going backwards, trying to push
Backwards, yes.
Yeah.
You know. But what was the Organisation for Change?
It's called Act for Change.
Act for Change,
yes.
right.
Yes, that's about bringing diversity.
Yes, into...
I think, I mean, you'd have to speak to Martina, Tanya, you know, all the girls, but I think they feel too. It's the beginnings of change.
Well, yes, it is.
Change, no question of that, I think.
It is, definitely.
Yeah.
But, you know, you're looking at, because as we look back from the 70s, there were certain roles that you were in, certain black people had roles on TV.
Absolutely.
They had their own series. And in some ways, yes, things have changed and moved forward in some directions, but in others, you're thinking, yes, it's still a bit iffy here.
I know what you mean.
Because the representation is still quite negative in some of the things, you know, it's a criminal or a...
Yeah.
And
I think that was one of the great pluses of Chase.
Yeah.
Being so long.
Yeah, being so long.
He's come out of prison.
Yeah.
He's a nice guy, made a mistake, you know.
That was a good movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, apparently it didn't get a lot of funding in the beginning until after. Then Netflix bought it. But, you know, in the making of it, and that was what was great about the question and answers, because you don't know these things unless you attend something like that.
This is true.
And that's when you find out that the greatest projects, they have to fight and struggle for funding and then when the finished product's there, then somebody big like Netflix wants to come in and claim it.
Claim it, and we'll buy it.
They did buy it. They bought it, yeah.
They're entitled to claim it. But I think that's another thing, of, like, get involved. And get involved and get out there.
Yeah.
And as you say, find out what is going on in whatever industry you're in, whatever profession. Inform yourself. Be informed of what's going on.
Well, it's always the adage, isn't it? Knowledge is power. And then with that knowledge, you're empowered and you can empower other people by passing it on.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's why we need to speak to people like your fine self to find out really how it starts and that, you know, we're not all born with a silver spoon in our mouths. But we can still achieve if we're focused and we get the support. That we need, because you know, as you say, you had that support with
my parents.
With your parents,
very much.
And your extended family.
Yes, very much so. I had that support, and I was so lucky that I've had a number of writers write for me, and that's a tremendous honour for an actor.
Yeah.
It's a gift beyond anything. You know, and
But again, it fits like a glove, like cogwheels. They write for you because they're like, yeah, she's the one. You know, and it's because of the work that you've put in. So it's a full, as you said earlier, full circle.
It's a great
gift and a great gift and an honor for people to write for you and put you in that position. Well, I know you're a busy girl. She's a busy girl. Thank you so much for taking the time to come and talk to us and enlighten us and inspire us and encourage us to be better people.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. It's my honor and pleasure. Really. Thank you. Thank you very much for joining us. If anything resonates with you in the show, please leave a message. Contact us. Let us know. We love to hear from you. Until next time, thank you very much and see you then.